Welcome. This is the Academy of Adoption and Assisted Reproduction Attorneys. Today, we're looking at the state of South Dakota, and we have Emily Gelling, who is here today. She's a wonderful, amazing attorney in that state, and she's going to introduce us to the state. But to start with, Emily, if you could introduce yourself.
Sure. So I am licensed in Iowa, Nebraska, and South Dakota. Today we're talking about South Dakota. The reason that I work in this area of law is it's definitely a point of passion for me. I'm a mother of 4, and to be a small part of the journey for other people to become parents is so rewarding. I've also been involved in South Dakota's lobbying efforts to protect surrogacy and assisted fertility in that state as well.
Well, and for the public that are listening, we have a lot of fellows that are involved in lobbying, and it's exciting because it really means you're at the heart of it and really do understand the law there. Okay, let's talk about South Dakota. In general, is it art friendly? Is it a go-to place?
Yes. So South Dakota does not have any legislation statutes on the books. So we operate within the process for parentage, birth certificates, kind of in the more general framework of family law.
And is it friendly for LGBT couples?
Yes. So in South Dakota, we are able to get pre-birth orders, and there's no variation based on genetics or makeup of the family in terms of single, heterosexual, LGBTQ, anything goes in South Dakota from that perspective.
So if you're single, though, is there a requirement that you be genetically related to the embryo or no?
No.
Okay. So really, it is everything.
Yes.
Okay. And what about traditional surrogacy? Can the surrogate use her own genetics?
So there's nothing that prevents that to happen in South Dakota. And so there is an ability to do that as well. Obviously, there's a lot more risks. So we have a lot more conversations with people if they're interested in that to make sure that they fully understand the risks, because a whole different ballgame for traditional surrogacy.
Okay, great. And then, when people are going state to state, one of the things, whether it's the first thing they should look at or not, probably not, but they always, want to look at timing. How long does it take to get in order? What does that process look like in South Dakota?
Oh, yeah. So we usually start the pre-birth parentage, kind of drafting the documents sometime in the second trimester. If at all possible, I like to have that order in hand before the third trimester in case baby comes early. So usually we will submit our legal documentation to the courts, and might take a couple of weeks to get a pre-birth order back. And then we send that to the hospital so that they are ready. And that's really it. The hospital will then process the birth certificate based on that pre-birth order. The baby will be able to be released to the parents. It's pretty smooth as long as everything goes right. So,
And the birth certificate process, how long does it take to get a birth certificate there?
a couple of weeks.
Okay. All right.
Pretty quick.
They don't have an expedited pay more money process.
No.
Yeah, I know. I wish more states would do that. It would sure make
Yes.
a difference for our industry, wouldn't it?
It
All
would.
right. And for those of you listening, babies come when babies want to come, right? So everybody always procrastinates, but they should speak to you sooner than later.
Yes. Yes. If they could come in the first trimester so we can kind of get our case file ready, all the information we need, then we're able to draft all the documentation then.
Great.
Plenty of time.
Yeah, plenty of time, people, everybody that's listening. And is there anything else that people should know about South Dakota that I've missed?
South Dakota does have a couple of unique statutes that can affect surrogacy contracts. So if you're looking at working within South Dakota in terms of surrogacy, definitely do seek a South Dakota licensed attorney that's experienced, because there are some particular language that we use to make sure that we're on the right side of some statutes.
Great. And we would recommend you reach out to our fellows within the academy. When you go to the academy, you've got an attorney that's been vetted and has experience versus somebody who may say they have been but haven't been vetted. If you want to contact Emily and learn more about South Dakota, she is happy to speak to you at any time. Putting words in your mouth, Emily, but I'm sure it's
absolutely.
And you can get a hold of her or get her contact information. If you go back to the Academy's website at www.adoptionart.org, you can get her contact information. We have a state map. You can narrow it right down to South Dakota and get her information and reach out and obtain that additional information. We appreciate your time today, Emily.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.